Everybody has one of these in their pocket. Everybody's got something that they communicate with. It's something that we almost can't live without today. It's a cell phone. And in the last 10, 15 years, cell phones haven't really changed. Maybe a little more power, a little more, oomph to them, games and apps. And of course, every couple of years, these companies have to, bog them down, so we have to upgrade. But there's nothing really new in them. The only thing that really improves on these cell phones is the cameras. And that's great because this means we can record everything. I mean, how many of us get on our cell phones and record something and post it to some form of social media? And that's great and all, but it's kind of, we get lost in it. We lose the moment because, you take the picture, you get on your cell phone and you want to edit the image, and then you want to post it. And by the time you do all that, if you take a picture of a party or a fair, and a lot of people do this, you kind of lose the moment because after about 5 minutes or whatever posting, everybody's gone. The moment is out the door and you're left with a wonderful photo, but not really the moment. And there is a group of cameras that are coming out to kind of change that, challenge that idea of staying in the moment. And it's these retro screenless digital cameras, like this one right here, the Momento. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So stay tuned and I'll see you in a minute. What we're talking about today is this right here, the Momento screenless retro digital camera from Momento. It came out in 2024 with an MSRP of $65. And right now on the used market, you can get it for, well, you can't. You can't get anything for used market because right now it just recently came out. You won't. You might in 20 years find it in a thrift store at a dollar bin, but right now you won't. See, what's going to happen is people are going to take this camera and they're going to play with it and enjoy it like I am. And then they're going to put it up in their closet, with those photo albums and clothes and mama's used toys that nobody remembers anymore. And when you go to clean out their closet, you're going to pull it out and be like, oh, wow, what is this technology, this weird looking thing? It looks like a camera because it is, but it has no screen on the back. See, it's screenless. I don't know what to do with it. Should I keep it? Should I give it away? Should I send it to the thrift store? And that's where it's going to end up. You're going to send it to the thrift store and people like me are going to find it and we're going to like, oh my God, that is so cool. And we're going to pick it up. Like I picked this one up. And honestly, I would pick it up again. In fact, I'm picking up a bunch of these cameras. So yeah, it's a cute toy. I'm weaving. But anyways, it is a whole whopping 8 megapixels. Now you might be thinking to yourself, in this day and age of technology, that doesn't seem like a lot, but actually for what you're getting, it is perfect. It is truly, truly perfect because that 8 megapixels that you get with a camera like this, it literally gives you what they're setting out to do. So don't knock that 8 megapixels. There are some other issues which we'll talk about in this camera, but that 8 megapixels is part of its charm. So yeah, don't let that discourage you from buying this camera because, I mean, just look at it. Let's just take a look around the chassis of this camera. All right. So first, what we have, we'll start with the top. Look at the top there, right? The top, we have the shutter button and this fake toggle button. That does absolutely nothing, but it gives you that idea. It is a zoom digital camera, right? So basically you've got nothing going on there except the shutter time. The shutter button, which, it works. It really does work. And then on the bottom here, if you see on the bottom, we've got the charging port, or right here, the charging port, right there, the charging port, and the transfer, where you can transfer your photos from the camera to the computer, so you can download them. And then right here, if you see, we got the USB, or the micro SD card. That's right, guys. This is where you can save all your memories. And that SD card is only around about 4 gigabytes. But honestly, with 8 megapixels, that 4 gigabytes is going to give you, it's going to give you a longevity. It's going to give you like 500 photos, I think they said. And so far, I have not had any worries that I was going to run out of any space on this, unlike some cameras, flashback, that kind of just limit you very much so. This doesn't limit you. So, yeah. So you've got the, like I said, the micro SD card, the charge port, and the transfer photos, and the shutter button. On the sides, you don't really get much there. There's nothing on the sides there. So, but here we got the front. Look at that front. The front is beautiful. You've got the faux leather. You know, I mean, come on, $65. They're not really going to go, they're not going to go retire a cow, just put some leather on this stuff. So you got the faux leather there. See, that's the faux leather. You got their name. You have the flash, which we'll talk about. The eyepiece, and it, it does what it's supposed to do. It's an eyepiece. It's not digital at all, so it's just an eyepiece. And here you have the fixed focus lens. That's right. I think the shot is about 2 feet. And then you have, the front. And then we've got the back. We didn't talk about the back yet. We got to talk about this right here, the back. Look at that. Yeah. So here on the back, you've got everything you possibly could need. Again, you have the viewfinder. Right here, you have the indicator button, which, let me turn it on. Let's turn it on. Indicator button shows you how much battery power you got. And then here, you've got the, what is that? That would be the indicator. What is that? For the photos, you have the number of photos you've taken. See, watch. 52 to 53. And it just took a picture of my shirt. I'm not saying that's worth anything, but And then here you have the sound. Wait a minute, over here you have the sound thingy-mabobber, the sound speaker, the sound. Anyways, you get that shutter button. Let's see if we can hear that. I took a picture of you upside down. Oh my gosh. Anyways. For battery power, which as you can see, it's going that way. And then the flash, on, off, auto. So then you got the flash. Did I take a picture of you? Let's take a picture of me. I just made a blur. Let's do a pause. And you heard how fast that shutter is, right? We'll get to there. The shutter speed is great. And there's not much to say about it. The body itself is plastic. They're not plastic, and it's fucking durable. Look at that. So, yeah, there's not a lot more to say about it. Oh, and there's the grip. There is that bit of a grip right there, which is a wonderful little handle. Like my camp snap, which I love my camp snap. It doesn't have that little lip where it looks like where the film's at, which it's nice. See, one-handed. And that shutter speed again, because I like my paper shoot, which we'll do a video on that. I love my cam stamp, but there is a little bit of a delay in the shutter, which is not something that I really dig, because sometimes you want to catch it, just, see, I just caught that. I don't know if it was on my face or not, but it's there. So anyways, without further ado, let's go and take some photos, let you see what the photos are like, let you judge, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and prayers of what this camera can do or what it's about. I don't know. I'll give you my overall review. So let's go take some pictures. Come on. There's one thing I did forget to mention about the Momento. Is something that they should really work on is, or I might have, I'm recording this separately, is when I try to hook it up to my computer. Let me show you. it doesn't read as much. You got to keep trying to fiddle with it to make it work. I don't have the same issue with my good cameras, you know, my Canons and my Sonys like I'm using here, and I don't have this issue with the Camp Snap and paper shoot cameras. Again, maybe this is just the one camera I've got, but it's a problem that they need to resolve. Well, I got to spin again. Hang on. Whee! What did you guys think? What did you guys think? Me, well, I thought it was okay. The photos that did come out did great. I mean, there are some positives. Like I said, the shutter speed was wonderful. The photos that did come out did turn out good. I mean, for an 8 megapixel camera. But again, that 8 megapixel camera, you know, it's giving you what it's supposed to, that nostalgia. So, you know, and easy to handle. So there were some positives in there. But there are a few negatives that we could talk about that I think if Momento is actually watching this, I hope they can work with. One, the lens. I'm not sure what's going on with the lens. It might be just this camera. But if you saw in some of the photos, or I'll show you right here, in some of the photos, there was a bend or a warp in the... okay, I just got to make sure my sound's going. There's a warp in the images, which I didn't get. I don't understand why that is. That doesn't seem to bode well. And at night, when you're using the flash, there is a blue tint to it. That's something that needs to be addressed. That blue tint is not something that I've seen in a lot of old school cameras, but this gives you that blue tint. And filters. Maybe I'm missing it, but there's no filters. Like the Camp Snap, you can download filters, the Paper Shoot, and there's a Retro Snap that I'm getting. They have a place where you can, you know, hit the, you know, filter buttons. You can get different filters like the blue, which we're seeing here. We can get the vintage black and white, which I think are great options. And the housing just, it doesn't feel undurable, but it just feels like a nice, expensive toys. It would be great if they had like a second edition that had those features plus maybe a metal housing. That would be kind of nice. I mean, I would love to see this upgraded a little bit. But outside of that, I don't see a lot wrong with this camera. This camera is just, it's a wonderful novelty, if nothing else. And that's another thing. With the memory that you get with it and the 8 megapixels, this thing can last you probably an entire weekend. So if you want some fun novelty, then go with this. And that's another neat thing about that. This keeps you in the moment. You take it and you get what you get. You're not going to focus and fumble around with editing and then uploading, which a lot of people do. A lot of people will take pictures. If it doesn't set up right, they'll have to look at it and then they'll have to reset it up. Cameras like this, they're just going to be, you're getting what you get. You keep it in the moment. I know I keep flashing, you know, I just want to punch that in there. It is keeping you in the moment. So if you got an extra $65 laying around, or if you can work a plan out some way, go get one of these retro digital cameras. This one is from Momento. I'm saying go get it. Unlike other retro cameras out there, like that, I suggest that you should never get. And before we take off, because I know this was kind of short, I just want to say this. In the coming year, I'm going to do a lot more cheaper cameras. One, because I'm broke. But two, I also want to see how far your bucks can go. Because let's face it, you get a good used camera for $100 to $300, you're going to get a good camera, especially even with Nikon. You know, Nikon that I'm not keen on, that's still going to be a good camera. That's still a camera that you can take videos and photos with, right? But what can you get? What kind of bang for your buck can you get for $20, for $65? And that's what we're going to explore for a few months here, because I mean, pretty much the cameras are all looking alike lately. And well, look at that. This is going to stand out. Kind of like that Olympus that I reviewed. That's going to stand out. So stay tuned for that. Now, remember what I always say, folks. It doesn't matter what you go take photos with. Just go get a camera and show the world how you see it. I'll see you next time right here on The Average Guy. See ya.